Hello, everyone. I am Billy Price, co-founder of BILLY Footwear, and welcome to another episode of Open Book. You know, one of the things I love about the position that our brand is in is we have the awesome opportunity to collaborate with some amazing people and amazing organizations. And a lot of those amazing organizations happen to be nonprofits. Well, today we have an awesome opportunity to talk to a wonderful gal with the nonprofit FAST, which stands for Foundation of Angelman Syndrome Therapeutics. On screen with me today is Amelia. She is one of the directors. She's a loving mom, a loving wife, and she's tuning in from Jordan. So I'm in Seattle, Washington. She's in Jordan on the other side of the planet in a very happening part of the world. But she's taking out some time to be able to join us today. So welcome, Amelia.
Thanks, Billy. It's a pleasure to be here.
You know, there's so many things we can talk about, and but I think because I don't really know genetics very well, I think a great place to start would be if you could describe Angelman Syndrome, and then from there we can spring into FAST.
Yeah, absolutely. So Angelman Syndrome it's a rare neurological disorder that affects between 15,000 to 20,000 people, or 1 in 15 to 20,000 people. And so, it affects everyone, all races, both genders equally. So kind of the phenotype of Angelman syndrome is that, typically people with Angelman syndrome have seizures, motor impairment, balance issues, fine motor as well as gross motor impairment. And, some people never learn to walk. And most do not talk. They're not able to speak. Another really common trait is disrupted sleep, which as parents and family members of people with Angelman syndrome is really, really hard. And for the person themselves, obviously, is very challenging. So that's kind of the phenotype of Angelman syndrome. And then the genotype, how people have Angelman syndrome is there's an abnormality on the 15th chromosome on one gene called the UBE3A gene. And that's the gene that's affected. So in our bodies, in all of our bodies, there's a handful of imprinted genes that meaning that the maternal copy is for Angelman syndrome, at least, it's the maternal copy that's making this protein. And with the UBE3A gene, that's one of the imprinted genes. So, Angelman syndrome is very unique because with Angelman syndrome, we have the opportunity of addressing this abnormality in creative ways because it is an imprinted gene. So that's one of the things that FAST is really looking at for treating and curing Angelman syndrome is how we can, cure Angelman syndrome. So it's exciting. We're very dedicated to finding a cure for Angelman syndrome. And Angelman syndrome, that's what Angelman syndrome is.
Got it.
Science
well, so one thing is when it comes to the human body, it never ceases to amaze me how incredibly amazing, I mean, just to use that word amazing, just amazing how amazing the human body is, but also how incredibly complex it is, and then how it can overcome, but also in that same vein, if it's like a very minor element, if it's slightly askew, how it can affect us, how it can really affect us. And then the complexity of, understanding the genome and understanding just the chromosomes in general. And I mean, this is stuff that I never really knew about growing up, and I'm still learning, mainly just through these collaborations. But it's just so awesome how so many people are coming together and finding each other to be able to generate money to make these really big changes. And I mean, FAST is just, I'm just blown away by your organization because it's not just a family thing. It's not just a country thing. It's a global thing. And I mean, can you touch on that? I mean, your team is just, it seems like it's growing and growing and growing. and the momentum you're garnering is just truly incredible.
Italy, in Latin America, in Colombia, Chile, Argentina.
Actually, hold on, Amelia. Can you have it closer to your mouth?
Yeah, can you hear me okay? Uh-oh, did you lose me? Can you hear me okay?
Oh, now I can hear you. There you are.
Okay.
There you are.
Here I am.
Yeah.
So FAST is global, which is really exciting. And, we're throughout the world. We're in Europe, in France and Spain, and Italy, UK, Australia, Canada, and in Latin America as well. So we have, a global force that just a global team of parents who are, working to educate their communities on Angelman syndrome, as well as, to fund science for a cure. So, and that's basically what FAST is we're a parent-led and organized and run organization that is dedicated to, funding transformative therapeutics for our loved ones with AS.
Yeah.
Because they mean a lot to us.
Well, you are a mom of 3 beautiful children. Your son Orion has Angelman syndrome, and I'm just kind of curious how did you find FAST? I mean, because I would imagine that. Well, first off, I mean, can you talk a little bit about Orion? I mean, I would imagine when you first heard the news of Orion having Angelman syndrome, there was an emotional journey attached to that. I'm sure there still is an emotional journey. So can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah. So, there's, Billy, I know you can relate to this, but, there's formative times in our lives, or points in our lives that we can point to that really change us, that mark us, that mark our lives. And certainly, I've had a few in my life. And like you said, I have 3 kids, 3 sons. My second son he was diagnosed with a congenital heart defect. So not Orion, but his older brother, one of his older brothers. And when my husband and I received his diagnosis, we were devastated, absolutely devastated. We didn't know exactly what that meant. And we discovered over time. But, as a parent, it's hard when there's something with your child that you can't fix, right? So that was our second child. And then with Orion, when he was diagnosed with Angelman syndrome, he was 13 months old. And again, we were devastated. With our second son, I remember thinking, thank God it's not his brain. Thank God it's not his brain. But then when Orion was diagnosed, it's all about the brain. It's a neurological disorder. And so I knew that it would be a very different journey than what we had and what we've had with our second son. So I just remember thinking the world has ended. It has ended. And I'm sure so many parents can relate to that. Just finding, how do I move on? How do I continue? How does life continue after this? And that's where I found so much hope in FAST. The day after Orion was diagnosed, a friend of a friend introduced me or told me about FAST. And I checked out the website, and it gave me hope to know that FAST is working to cure Angelman syndrome, and that it is absolutely possible and will happen. And that's really these last 4 years after Orion's diagnosis. That's what's continued to give me hope, and that's why I, love being on the board of directors for FAST. Is knowing that what I am doing, that what our board of directors is doing, and what our community is working toward will make a huge difference in in our community for our loved ones with AS, and also for other disorders.
Wow, that's awesome. You know, you said the words fix, and it sparked a memory in my mind I haven't thought about in a long, long time. And it's crazy because I can emotionally go there really easily. And it's crazy I haven't thought about it in a long time, but I'll share a little bit about it because I won't go too deep, because I'll probably just break down into tears.
Yeah.
I remember laying in the hospital, and my dad, he was a guy that loved to fix things. I swear he had a tool for everything. He still has a tool for everything. And I remember he knelt down beside me, and he was just like breaking down into tears. And he said, and he could barely get the words out, he's just like, I don't have the tools to fix you.
Yeah.
And it was, boy, talk about a hard moment. And it's just because you feel that emotional pain, and especially now I'm a parent as well. And it's like, I can't imagine, you want to do everything for your child, and you feel so helpless when you can't do everything for your child. And,
yes.
But it's a matter of like, being able to team with other people, like that community, that sense of community. And when I was in the hospital, I guess I had this sense of a community in terms of friends and family to, join us and help us. But I didn't have any spinal cord injury connection, like really like some sort of a mentor or other shoulders to cry on to be able to have an understanding of the hardship that our family was really going through, like within that specific element. So the fact that you were able to find a community so quickly to be able to help see out of the fog and look beyond the unanswerable why me, that's truly amazing.
Yes, absolutely, Billy. I think community makes all the difference, knowing that you're not alone. And I think that that's something that you can find not only within our Angelman community. We find that, and we are a strong community, and we're a fairly large community for a rare neurological disorder. But I think even I've found community with with other families and other moms who have children with challenges. So I think community is so important for sure.
Yeah. And somehow within that community, our shoes landed on your radar.
Yes. Yeah. So shortly after BILLY Footwear started, one of our board members found you and she was just so excited because she was like, this could work for my son. So she tried it, and it was amazing. And she asked to have one of your shoes for our silent auction at our annual gala that we hold. And our community just went wild for BILLY Footwear because it's true. The shoes allow our loved ones to be more independent and to look good, which is very important. Two very important things: independence and fashion.
Right. Well, it's been so fun to be able to, see our shoes on so many just incredible folks, and just to be able to generate some sense of normalcy, I guess, to generate some confidence, and to be able to empower that independence. Not only for the person that's wearing the shoes, but it's been really cool too to be able to empower the parents to be able to empower their kids, which is even more heartwarming. And so it's just been awesome. I'm so happy you guys reached out, because the honor is truly ours to be able to work with you guys on a much bigger scale.
Oh, we appreciate what BILLY Footwear is doing for our community and so many other communities.
Well, Amelia, there's so many things we can cover, and I almost want to, oh my gosh, I just want to reach to this camera and give you a big hug. I'm really looking forward to this long-term, not only partnership, but also just friendship. And, but before we sign off for the day, I wanted to give you the mic one more time, just kind of share whatever's on your heart. It could be something we talked about already or something new, but I wanted to make sure you had the mic one more time.
Yeah. I think two things. First, FAST wants to invite you, Billy, as well as everyone listening to our FAST Summit and Gala which will happen the first weekend in December in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
So Billy, you are invited, and everyone else listening to this, you are invited as well. So we hope that you will join us. It'll be a great party, lots of fun, and we raise some good money for to continue to fund transformative research in therapeutics for Angelman syndrome. And then second, I just wanted to give a big shout out to our Angelman community and say thank you to them, and also thank you to BILLY Footwear. So
Awesome.
thanks for having Fast. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's plug your website. Let's we have some banners that we can throw up on the screen. So
there it
here's
is,
the website.
cureangelman.org. There's lots of great information on our website, so definitely check it out. And we're on social media, Instagram and Facebook as well.
Awesome. Well, I've definitely been to your website, and I got to say there is a lot of information, and just seeing all these faces. I mean, the depth of your board, the depth of all the participants, the stories of various people. Colin Farrell. I always mix those two up. One of those guys is on there as well. That was pretty exciting to see. Mm-hmm. And you guys just have an amazing thing going, and it's just seeing that hope. The part that really warms my heart is, and this is kind of something I faced, I'd say early on when it came to the idea of curing spinal cord injury. I'm confident that it'll happen eventually. I'm confident that Angelman syndrome, the cure, will happen. And but the part that's so exciting is families. They see the future, they see the potential, but they're also active and still living their lives while. And adding value where they can, and just getting out there and living. And then when the cure comes, it's going to be all the better.
Yes, absolutely. Spot on.
Well, Amelia, thank you again so much for your time today. Everyone else that was tuning in, this was another episode of Open Book. We'll have another one next week. So until then, take care.